In this video we'll check out Synthx V by Arturia, which is easier to call Synthx V. This is an emulation of the Synthx by Elka, an Italian synthesizer from the 80s which was very innovative for its time. You can even consider it innovative compared to other analog synthesizers from today. Not only that, it was used by many famous musicians, including Martin Gore. The last time I reviewed an emulation of the Synthx, I had like 2,000 subscribers, and now we are at 11,000. All of that is thanks to you, so let's keep growing, subscribe to the channel, and give this video a like. Now in this video we'll check out if Arturia made a good job, and we will also compare it with another emulation of the Synthx, which actually was one of the best sellers of this other developer. Let's start by stating why the Synthx was originally innovative for its time. First of all, on the oscillator section we have audio rate pulse width modulation and also a ring modulator. It also had a 3-level chorus. Now, another thing that was more innovative was the ability to work with layers. Each layer will be independent from one another, including the modulators, so in reality you had two Synthx in one. Now there was even one more feature that made it unique. It had 4 sequencers that were really long and you could program different note progressions. The best part is that it lets you play with the 4 sequences at the same time. Arturia emulated everything except the sequencer. They opted for 4 arpeggiators. As with the sequencers, these are independent from each other and can be played at the same time, but I'm curious to know why they chose to use arpeggiators and not sequencers. I'm not saying that the sequencer is better than the arpeggiator, and in fact I really like how they implemented the arpeggiator here. As I said, with Synthx you can work with 2 layers, and each arpeggiator can control layer A or layer B or both at the same time. So if you program A different from B and you choose ARP 1 and 2 to control each, you will get an ARP with a very unique timbre. And you can even transpose one in comparison to the other. And to keep things in tune, you can even select a scale. Now you can even change the rhythm of each arpeggiator. Right now you can see a circle that has only blue dots, and that means that every step is triggered. But if you click on these blue dots, you will actually deactivate some steps. So immediately you can start creating arpeggios with different triggers. What's even more interesting is that you can actually change the length of each arpeggio, and with that we enter into polymeter territory. For instance, let's now use the 4 arpeggiators and give each one a different length. Now, the way you can create polyrhythms is by actually muting all of the steps except the first one. And then you set the length of one arpeggio to be, I don't know, 5, and for the other, let's say 7. So then we can go crazier and start building more complex polyrhythms with up to 4 different numbers. This patch, as well other original sounds made in the Synthx V, are going to be available for my channel members and my patrons, so consider joining whichever platform you prefer. And remember, these are arpeggiators, so let's actually choose different values for the octaves and even the transpose. Now to finish the overview and get to the comparison, Arturia is once again modernizing an emulation by adding effects and advanced modulators. The modulators can be as simple as an ADSR or as complex as a function generator, which is also called an MSEC. We even have a random modulator. Not only that, it includes almost every effect that you can find on Pigment, including the multi-band compressor, multiple types of distortion, and even the unison engine. So yeah, it's a very deep synthesizer and I like it a lot. But this is not the only great Synthx emulation out there. The other one is the Elka-X by Cherry Audio. I even made a review about the Elka-X back when I had that big helmet-like mask. And by the way, I have a polyrhythmic preset pack for the Elka-X. It has 50 presets, from which 19 are polyrhythmic sequences. The one by Cherry Audio is even closer to the original because it has the sequencer, and you program it the way it was intended. You select a step, you press a key, and then you go to the next step you want to be a trigger. And you can apply a same philosophy as I did to create polymeters and polyrhythms, by simply choosing different amounts of steps for each sequence. Now, as I said, it's not like the sequencer is better than the arpeggiator. Both are very different and I like both. Each one will give me a different result. And the one by Cherry Audio also has an arpeggiator, but that's specific for one or the other layer. Now, of course, Arturia has more options for modulation and effects, but that's not the philosophy of Cherry Audio. They only want to add specific things to enhance the experience, but not change too much of the original thing. So the only thing that's left to compare is the sound. And for that, I'm going to try to replicate the same sounds on both synthesizers. I gotta say they are pretty close to each other. So if you want a Synthx emulation, you can choose either. Some people love how Arturia modernized their plugins, and others want an experience that's more similar to the original thing. So it's up to you, and I want to read your opinions down in the comments. What do you think about this new Synthx emulation, and how do you compare it to the Elka-X? Thank you so much for watching, I will see you next time, and bye bye!